Good morning, taste. Here's your coffee machine, the Breville Barista Express BES870 in cranberry red. As you saw in the photos, it's in very good condition. It's very clean. I would say it's 95% as new, and only used a few times. I would say like 20 or 30 times maximum. So it's I've just finished doing the checkup, so just checking for everything working fine and doing the cleaning cycle, checking for leaks and pressure tests. Obviously everything was perfect, nothing to mention. I've also cleaned the grinder and I've adjusted it to a correct grind size so you can get the machine ready to go. You don't have to mess around with the grind size. So at the moment the machine is up to temperature. Usually it takes about a minute to turn on and warm up. So when the lights are on, that means it's up to temperature. I still like to warm it up some more by running a blank shot. So that means just running hot water without putting any coffee in the handle. Just regarding the condition, to keep it nice and clean, you have to be careful with your cups getting in and out. Like most of the scratches that people usually get on these machines are from the cups getting in and out. Or for example, you bang the cup here or you bang the portafilter here. So just be careful with that. Like even if you buy this new, you'd still get scratches anyway. So I think you went with the right choice here. Oh yeah, the blank shot. Just warming up the machine, warming up the handle and the cup as well. Nice and hot. You can do this once, you can do this twice, up to you. These buttons are programmable, so you can always you can actually adjust the length of the buttons to your liking. If you want to reset it to factory settings, just hold the program button. But if you want to program it, I'll teach you how to do that. You can also brew manually. So if, let's say, you wanted to make your coffee a little bit longer on any given day, for example, you can, instead of pressing the button, you can hold the button for a little bit and then let go. So you can hold it for like 5 seconds. It'll give you low pressure, and then when you let go, it'll give you full pressure. And it'll keep going until you stop it, of course. That's all done. I'm going to put this on the side, let it heat up. Now let's grind the coffee. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to dry it with a tissue. You want it to be dry before grinding your coffee. Okay. This is the double basket. Your machine comes with all 4 baskets. This is the double size single wall. So this will take 18 grams of ground coffee. If you have a scale, I recommend using it to get 18 grams. But I'm going to also adjust the settings here so that the machine also gives you roughly 18 grams. So let's see. You can keep it on single or double for the grinding quantity. I'm going to keep it on single and do it twice. I think that's a little bit better and it creates less of a mess, I guess. This is the grind amount. That's how long the grinder will grind for. I'm going to put it at 12 o'clock and see how much that gives us. Again, grind size is at number 3 now. I've already adjusted it and like from experience, I know what grind sizes are good. So like by feeling it, I could tell that grind size number 3 is good enough. But the only way to confirm is by running a coffee and seeing if it's quick, if it's slow. For example, if the coffee is too quick and too watery, I would make the grind size 1 click finer. If it's too slow and coming out very drop by drop, very slow, I would make it 1 grind size larger. Hope that makes sense. At the moment, it's at grind size number 3. Oh, and I'm using the Aldi brand of beans, Ethiopia. It's very good. Aldi in general is very good for coffee beans. Try to get fresh beans if you can. The fresher the better. You'll notice that if you get stale beans or supermarket beans, for example Coles, or for example the Victoria brand, those ones tend to be a little bit runny and don't have a lot of crema. So try to get fresh, for example, from your local cafe, for example. That's 7.5 grams. I'm going to increase this a little bit. Hopefully this will give us a little bit more coffee. So if you click it, it will grind automatically. But if you want it to grind manually for a specific amount of time, you can just hold it. And it will grind for as long as you hold it. Okay. So after I've ground the first dose, I'm going to press. Then I'm going to grind again. Great. I'm going to flatten it with my palm. Check. That's 17.9 grams. I'm happy with that. Let's roll with that. So 18, give or take, is what I would put in this basket. A little bit more is okay, a little bit less is okay. But don't do 19 grams or 17 grams. It has to be within 18. I'm going to tamp it nice and firm. I'm going to make sure I apply even pressure all around. If you don't have a scale for, like I said, if you do have a scale, try to use it. But if you don't have a scale, a good way to know that you have the correct amount of coffee is by looking at the depth of your tamp. So, for example, this line here, I would follow this line when tamping. So let me tell you what I mean. If I have 18 grams in the handle, the tamper will go as deep as the silver part. So now I have like 17.8. I'm happy with that. This is the depth approximately that it'll go to. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah, that's the depth that usually I get. So just as deep as the silver part. That's about 18 grams. If it's too high, then that's obviously more than 18 grams. And if it's too deep into the handle, then obviously that's less than 18 grams. And of course, just keep the machine on these settings. It'll stay giving you like 18 grams. So obviously 9 grams each click, so 9 grams and 9 grams. If you keep this at around 2 o'clock position, so 2 o'clock, and the grind size at number 3, you should be getting the same results, more or less. Okay. I'm going to clean the edges. And I'm going to lock it in. Because this is a new machine, the rubber seal is still fairly new. The rubber seal on the handle. So you don't have to push it all the way to the right. Usually you can, but because the machine, like I said, it's barely used, so the seal is tight at 6 o'clock position. So maybe over the years you'll be able to push it a little bit to the right to a 5 o'clock position, but at the moment dead center, it's good enough. It's not going to leak, it's not going to come off. Dead center is good. You know, only tighten it as tight as necessary. You don't have to push it or force it. You don't need to. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to dump the hot water from this cup now. And here you have a hot water tap. You can use it for making a long black coffee, Americano, tea bags, or for example, in this case, I like to add a little bit. I like to add a little bit just to dissolve the sugar in my cup. I like to add some sugar to my coffee. So, if you like syrup or equal sweetener or sugar with your coffee, I recommend adding it at this stage before making the espresso. And again, I'm going to use the scale to give me the correct amount of espresso. So as you saw, we put 18 grams into the handle. We want to double that in terms of espresso. So 18 grams of coffee in, 36 grams of espresso out. So 18 in, 36 out. You want to try to double it. So if you're using the single shot, which is I think 10 grams, you want to get 20 grams of espresso. If I'm using 18 grams, I want to get 36 grams. So I'm going to aim for a 35 to 40 range. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly 36. It just has to taste good and has to be within the ballpark. You know, some coffees you can do a 3-to-1 ratio or a 1-to-1 ratio. Up to you, whatever tastes good. But the standard is a 2-to-1 ratio, so I'm going to do that now. Again, I'm going to use the scale to measure that. And I'm going to set the button for you to give you that 36 gram quantity. So these buttons, like I said, you can program them and they'll memorize how much coffee to give and they'll give you the same amount every time. So maybe you don't have to set it, you can just, you'll receive the machine already set up, which is good. You don't have to mess with the settings, but you can if you wanted to. When I'm gonna make the coffee now, you want to pay attention to 2 things: the timing and like how quickly the coffee comes out, and the pressure gauge. The pressure gauge should be around the 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock position for a good extraction, and the espresso should come out nice and smooth, not gushing out like a river, but also not, which is too quick, but also not too slow like black drops. That would be too slow. So I'm going to program the button, this one. So the way you do that is program, it'll make coffee, and then I'm going to press the button again. Okay, the coffee's coming nice and smooth. A little bit slower than I'd like, so I'm going to increase the grind size to number 4 instead of number 3. But it's coming out nice and smooth, very consistent, not coming out very quickly or too slowly. Pressure is beautifully at 1 o'clock. And I'm going to stop it when it's about 40 grams, just there. Like, you can eyeball it, you don't have to use the scale if you want to set your coffee manually. But in this video, as you saw, I've already set it up. I think it's about 45. So it's a little bit long. You may or may not like that. So this coffee is up to here. So maybe I would bring it a little bit down to closer to an espresso size for it to be a little bit stronger. But it's fine. It tastes really good. It smells really good, and it tastes really good as well, so I'm not complaining. And when you take the coffee out, you want to knock it off straight away, otherwise it will stick. And you want to run a blank shot again, this time to clean it up. So you want to clean the head and the handle. Press the 2-cup button, or 1 cup, whatever, just to rinse. Put it back. That's all you need to do to make a very good tasting espresso. Now let's do the milk steaming. So I'm going to turn on the steamer. It'll probably take around 10 to 15 seconds to start steaming. Just give it a few seconds more, it'll become even stronger. And you want to learn the technique if you don't know how to do the technique. So very simply, just put milk about halfway, and the steam wand, keep it close to the edge of the jug like this, and try to spin the milk in a vortex. And also keep the tip here close to the tip of the milk, so close to the surface of the milk, so that as it spins, it actually injects aerates the milk. So it'll give you like a creamy, frothy texture. So I'm going to turn it on. Sorry, I was just getting the milk. So when you turn it off, it'll give you about 5 seconds before it goes back to coffee mode. So once it starts steaming powerfully, turn it off, put in the wand. Remember that technique that I told you about? Spinning the milk in a vortex and keeping the tip close to the surface. You want to hear that hissing noise? That means you're injecting air, which is good. Do this position for about 20 seconds. If you do it for too long, you'll get a very bubbly, very frothy milk, almost like a cappuccino. If you do it for half the time, you'll get a latte. So I'm going to raise the jug now. Now I'm only spinning the milk and heating it up. I'm going to keep doing this, spinning it until I can't touch the jug for too long. So when I can't touch it for half a second, that's about 60 degrees right there. Before letting it cool down, you want to purge the wand as well. So just to clean it up from any milk residue. And now let it cool down. But also you need to wipe the wand as well. Okay, so you want to wipe this straight away because obviously it gets really, really hot. And if you leave it for long, it will stick and it will be very hard to remove. So the sooner you clean it, the better. And make sure you get the edges and the back and the bottom. There we go. Here's my milk. I'm gonna pour it into my espresso now. Knock it down on the bench just to break any bubbles. Not the best technique today, because I was doing it on video, it was a bit awkward. But anyway, with enough practice on this machine, you can get beautiful latte art. Okay, let's show you the final result. Here it is. This is not a design, it's more of a... I'm not sure what it is, but yeah. It always tastes amazing. That's the beauty of this machine. Hope you make really good coffees on it and enjoy the machine. And if you have any questions or queries, feel free to message me. And I'll see you soon. Cheers.